It's actually really quite jarring. Quite jarring. Anyway, the trying different things. No fancy camera angles, no edits, no inserts, no. Although there is some inserts. What do we got? Not the right sort of inserts. Anyway, the adversarial system that actually is our existence. See, pressure makes diamonds. I've made that comment before. Foregoing instant gratification can lead to a much better, much more valuable outcome in the long term. It comes back to that tree in the last video. It was a smaller tree, but it was also younger than the one next to it. So that's an adversarial system. There's pressure there. So the smaller tree may have, and this is speculation, like I'm not an arborist. It's neither my nightmare or my wet dream. The smaller tree would have had to fight the bigger tree for nutrients in the soil. The bigger tree, more established, bigger root system. So it would have had to expend energy actually making its roots bigger, making its roots stronger, making its roots stretch further so that it could get enough nutrients for the rest of the tree to grow, for it to thrive. Now, this may not have undermined the bigger tree, but because the bigger tree was there first, because the bigger tree didn't necessarily get quite as much, didn't need quite as much pressure to grow quite as big. And again, this is purely anecdotal. It's not even anecdotal. What would you call it? A parable, like the starfish story. It's just basically these things happen and these can be explanations. But at the end of the day, the smaller tree that has had a adversarial relationship with the world around it is going to be stronger. It's going to be more resilient. And that's basically how humans work. And that was all my point of this video is humans work with pressure. They don't really work without pressure. So we're living in a world now where a lot more people feel entitled to particular things. And I mean, I'm even guilty of this. I have a tough time at my job because I work my ass off. Now, I'm not responsible for any of the bills. I'm not responsible for anything else. I'm just responsible for lifting the thing up in the air, hitting it with a big hammer, undoing bolts, doing bolts up, fitting better parts, diagnosing what's wrong. But ultimately, the pressure, my pressure is not the same pressure that the business itself has. Now, I'm not responsible for any of it. At the end of the day, I can go and find another job. I don't have 40 years or 30 years invested in this business. The boss does. So his decision-making process for his pressure is always going to be different than my pressure, but my pressures are different. I need to find a way to provide for my family. I need to find a way to provide for my later in life. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So I'm basically fighting much, much younger people. Now, there isn't as many younger people that can do what I can do the way that I do it for the sort of money that these jobs pay as a general rule. So I don't have to worry about getting fought off, but it's a shit job. It's doing garbage work for essentially garbage money, but it's my only real skill. So adversarial nature of the universe is such that pressure makes diamonds. Pressure formed the universe. Pressure makes stars function. So if we go through our life avoiding pressure, if we go through our life avoiding or just shying away from our adversaries, whether those adversaries are discipline or actual physical people or just mowing the lawn when it needs to be mowed, or whatever the pressure is, whatever our individual adversary is at that time, we should actually deal with that shit as it comes. That's all I've got to say about that. If you can't be good at it. Be excellent to each other or don't. I'm not your